Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Texas Chainsaw, starring Alexandra Daddario, Dan Yeager, Tremaine Trey Songs Neverson, Tanya Remain, Tom Barry, Paul Ray, Bill Moseley, Scott Eastwood, and Sean Sipos, and directed by John Lessenhop. I don't know if I'm saying that right, please forgive me. So, let's say before I get into this review, I have seen this before in 3D when it was in theaters, and I like the 3D effects. I'll talk about it in the movie, but what do I think of the movie in general? I think that's for the show to decide. Let's get into it. We pick up right where the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre ended, and we pick up from the ending to a cop pulling up. I think it was what's his name, Hooper, Sheriff Hooper. Sheriff Hooper pulling up to Drayton Sawyer, returned by Bill Moseley's house, and every single person in town, Bert Hartman, played by Paul Ray, pulls up and shoots the Sawyer's house. And I get the impression Texas Chainsaw 2 through 4, plus the remakes, never exist because Bert burns down the house, and Gavin Miller finds a BB girl, and with her mother, and knocks her out of the mother. And knocks out the mother, and they take the baby as their own, and we move on to present day where she's grown up and is named Heather, played by Alexandra Daddario, working in the meat department, and gets off work and gets home to her boyfriend Ryan, played by Tremaine Trey Songs Neverson, and she never finds out about her past and where she came from, and she does find out, and when they are in their apartment one day, I'll say, in a fight with her step-parents about her grandparents' death. And I think these are the worst characters in the entire Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, as the acting is very bad in this movie. Heather, Ryan, Kenny, and Nikki, played by Tanya Raymond, head to New Orleans and make a stop in Texas, and while at the gas station, they pick up Daryl, played by Sean Sipos. Forgive me if I said that wrong. And they get going to and make it to Texas and find the grandparents' place. And they reach the place and meet a Mr. Farnsworth, who is played by the guy that I've seen in Office Space. I forget the actor's name, but who gives Heather the keys and paperwork. And they go into the gates inside the house, and they check it out, and they decide to go to a local store, and Daryl sticks to the house and to only steal some shit. And I'm thinking, what the fuck are they doing leaving him alone at the house, as he's a thief and scam artist? And he's almost successful until Leatherface, played by Dan Yeager, grabs him and kills him. And can I ask, why the fuck am I watching this movie? And it's doing so much wrong, as it's insulting to the original movie in a disrespectful kind of way. While at the market, Heather is approached by Deputy Carl, played by Clint Eastwood's son Scott, as Bert introduces himself as to Heather. And I know there's something up with Deputy Carl and Bert. Is not a shocker here either, because he was in the opening scene. And to make obvious cases worse, why can I predict this shit? Because I haven't seen this thing since theaters. And again, why am I watching this movie? Kenny finds Leatherface's hideout and gets captured as Ryan is cheating on Heather with Nikki. And I'm thinking, what these two motherfuckers always are asking for death, as Heather spots Leatherface in the house and takes down to his working area and chops Kenny in half as she runs out of the Sawyer cemetery. The gore when Leatherface cuts Kenny in half was a good 3D shot, but the best 3D shot comes later. Ryan and Nikki call out Leatherface, and he traps them in the barn while Nikki shoots Leatherface, and Heather gets the van that they came in with and grabs Ryan and Nikki, and Ryan turns to run over a locked up gate, which doesn't always work, and the van runs out and Leatherface cuts up the wheel. And I'm thinking, I'm bored with this movie. There's just no characters to connect with. Even Ryan dies during this crash, and that's I didn't care. Leatherface gets to the van and cuts Nikki and chases her, not her, but chases after Heather, and is Ryan dead? Oh yeah, he is dead. What the fuck am I saying? Because who cares, you know? Heather and Leatherface get to the carnival they brought up earlier in the film, and Deputy Carl shows up, and Leatherface throws the chainsaw, and right there, that was the best 3D shot in the whole movie. It was good, but it's not saying much. Heather talks Sheriff Hooper, who was in the terrible opening sequence, about what Leatherface looked like, and why the fuck are the deputies not listening to the sheriff, but instead they listen to Bert, who's the fucking mayor, who's not the chief, and again, he's the fucking mayor, which didn't make sense. These are perhaps the worst deputies I've seen in movies. Heather learns it was Bert who killed her family, and he's willing to do anything to stop Leatherface, and Heather for that matter, from existing. And I'm just ready to check out of this movie and almost turning it off, but I can't because I had to continue for the show, obviously. Heather also learned she was kidnapped in the beginning of the movie by her step-parents, and Leatherface is her cousin as the deputy shoots Nikki dead, and Leatherface kills the deputy, and I'm thinking this is the worst Texas Chainsaw I've seen yet, with Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. Two very bad movies in a row, and I do like the 3D shots, and it's not saying much. Heather escapes the police station to meet Mr. Farnsworth, and Bert comes in and tries to get Heather, and Carl picks her up and takes her to her father, aka Bert, da-da-da-da, as Leatherface, yes, they're father and son, Bert and Carl, as Leatherface goes after Bert in a factory where they're torturing Heather, and her shirt is blocking her cleavage, I'll say. Really good, because we could barely see them, which thank God for that. But I wasn't trying to, because I'm not a Class A pervert like some people I know. Leatherface not always, arrives while Bert and Carl and some other guy chat outside, and Leatherface realizes Heather is her cousin, as her cousin is the Kurt, whatever the fuck that is. Bert, Carl, and the other guy get beat up Leatherface, and Heather almost leaves her cousin to die until she comes back and tells them to do your thing, cuz, and grown her line there, by the way. And he does his thing and kills Bert in the grinder, as Hooper decides to let Heather and Leatherface live, as Heather washes up Leatherface and feeds him. And as a climax, I want it out. But wait, the credits roll to an after-credits scene with the step-parents getting killed by Leatherface, which was pointless and stupid. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 1.0 out of 10. This, with the last time, is the worst movies I've seen, and this is beyond unacceptable, as I can't connect with these characters, and I do like the 3D shots, but it's not saying much. Probably one of the worst movies I've seen with last time, and I wanted to turn this damn thing off 30 minutes earlier, as it was giving me a headache. Let's see how next time goes, because I've never seen this one before. Sorry, we'll be back next time with Leatherface. That's the name of the movie. And until next time...